Hello everyone, my name is Rangga Prasetyo. I'm from Senior High School 1 Kedungwaru. And in this happy occasion, I'd like to tell you a folklore. This story is based on the relief existed on Mirigabar Temple, which is located exactly in Sumber Gempol Tulungagung. This story is so romantic that you will be incredibly excited to hear about it. So, enjoy the story. Long time ago, there was a kingdom which was separated into two different kingdoms, the North and the South. The North Kingdom was called as a Jonggala, while the South was called as a Panjalu. And then, there was a handsome young man from the North Kingdom who had a complete name as Inu Kertapati. He was a prince of Jonggala Kingdom. As the time went by, he found a beautiful young woman who was in the same age as him. What happened then? They stared at each other, admired themselves each other, and started to greet and say their name. Turns out, she was Chandra Kirana from Panjalu Kingdom. She was a quiet princess who fell in love for the first sight to a man named Panji. After that, they started to spend their lifetime together. Wherever he went, she would always be by his side. And then, dramatically, there was a problem. They didn't know that their kingdom was having a conflict. But they ignored it. They assumed that nothing would be able to break their relationship as long as they stand together as one. And after that, Sekartaji tried to inform to her father about their relationship. But unfortunately, her father denied it somehow. He said, Chandra Kirana, only me who could choose you your future husband. Don't you dare to mention Panji's name again, or I will punish you. As soon as listening to her father's denial, she was crying and started to run to her personal chamber. And suddenly, she embraced and she encouraged herself to meet Panji and told him that her father did not allow their relationship. But Panji was okay with that, and he had an idea to persuade her to join him doing an odyssey to decide a decision about their future. And thankfully, they finally figured it out. What would they do? And then, in the other hand, the king of Magadha wanted to propose Sekartaji, and yet her father denied it for one more time. So, the king of Magadha was so upset, and he said, King of Panjalu, your behavior determines your kingdom. And then, the king of Panjalu was also upset of what he had said. So, he ordered all of his soldiers or his god to kick him off out of his kingdom. And then, days after days had passed, Sekar and Panji were having a little chit-chat around the bamboo forest. But suddenly, the waitress of the princess shouted and kept calling her name, just to go home. What happened? Why? Because the king of Magadha finally figured it out that the princess had a boyfriend. So he didn't care about anything, just ordered his soldier to beat Panji off and threw him away to a river which will make him dead eventually. So, because the waitress knew that what's the plan about to do, they suggested Panji to hide and run away somewhere for his sake. And then, on his way home, the soldier met him. Oh God, I was cracked. He was beaten and in unconscious condition. He was beaten so fiercely. He was thrown into a river and hoped that he would be dead, evidently. And thankfully, he was found and hit by the waitress, knowing that the condition was inconsiderable, so they hid him in Princess's personal chamber. They had to find a way for Panji to be able to go outside again, knowing that his situation was in danger. They had to think, and finally they decided to make his appearances as exactly like woman. And boom, they had given him a woman dresses and also named that then he was Wasengsari. And then finally they could do normal things just like what they did before. Few months of disguise made Panji were in a perfect condition to behave just like a woman did. In the next month, unfortunately, the king of Magadha announced that they were about to slay down Kadiri kingdom if they did not turn over their princess. Listening to the situation would be that way, it made Panji got angry and wanted to reveal who he really was. But suddenly, the princess told him and forbade him. Oh dear Panji, remember what we had done all this time just to make you stay undercover? You couldn't just ruin it. You had to know whether your situation was dangerous or not. Remember. After listening what she had said, he thought perhaps that wasn't the best time to attack. And then in the next day, finally, the king of Panjalu knew that the king of Magadha was about to slay down Kadiri kingdom because they had not turned over their princess. So the king of Panjalu was worried about his daughter and he kept thinking, what would I do to save my daughter? Then he went away to his daughter's personal chamber and told her, "Oh, my daughter, come on, you had to go away and run away somewhere just for your sake. Dad loved you. Be brave. Be careful, my daughter." And then Sekartaji was crying about her father's intention. Because Panji was staying at her personal chamber, he knew and he was about to go outside of the kingdom and slay this king alone. One day, the king of Magadha was about to attack to Panjalu kingdom, but on his way to attack, Panji slain down or killed them all of the king's soldiers, and asked for a challenge. "Hey you king, if you want to propose Sekartaji, then you have to kill me." And then they fought fiercely just like what men did. And everyone saw the accident and they kept fighting until who would be the winner. And finally Panji could beat that king and the king died. So he was happy. So after killing that king, the king of Magadha, Panji tried to admit his profile to the king of Panjalu, and then he admitted that he was Wasengsari. So after listening about what Panji had sacrificed, he approved that he was okay with their relationship. And then finally they ruled their kingdom wisely and they lived happily ever after. Thank you so much and goodbye.